Hey, 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 you're tuned into School Night. I'm Novena Carmel. Jayo's here now with us as well.
What's Gucci?
Along with Eloise Alterman, who just poured her whole heart out on stage. Wow. The way you were just like walking around, I felt like you were like reading pages out of your like journal to us or something like that. Yeah.
That's where
incredible.
they all start. All the songs start in my journal.
Wow. They all start the journal.
Yeah.
That's why
I love
that
pen
way.
and paper. That's my favorite way to write.
Amazing.
It really is a journal entry.
Do you have a favorite location to write?
On the floor, usually. I know that's random. I have many chairs, but my first choice is usually the floor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know
Does that
why.
mean like you're doing the poem first, or you're also doing melody at the same time? Or?
Usually it used to be different every time, but recently I've really found, I think, my groove and how I write a song. And it usually just starts with me checking in on myself and being like, girl, what are you feeling lately? Because I love to disassociate. But lately I sit down and I just write a bunch of notes and really try and dig into what I've been feeling lately and like tune into myself a little bit. And then when it does come time to write the song, I'll sit at the piano and I'll turn it into something.
Yeah.
Sounds quite therapeutic.
It is like therapy. That's what it is. That is what music is.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned too, because I was going to ask you about your songwriting process, and I know that that's sort of like evolved for you.
Yeah.
The way that you approach it, and you've kind of felt like a new freedom in that, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always had songwriting, you know, as like growing up and like all the different things I've felt my whole life. Like songwriting has always been just a way for me to speak it and then let it go, if that makes sense. But once it became my job, I had to kind of find like, you know, a way to do it where it's productive.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes sense?
Yes, because sometimes it's like you have to do something when you don't really feel like doing it.
Yeah, because all of a
something.
sudden I was like, oh, now this is like in my calendar that I have to write a
Yes,
song.
once it gets in the calendar.
Once it's in the
changes a
calendar,
little
yeah.
bit, yeah.
But I still enjoy it so much, and I still really need it. And even the days where I'm like, I do not want to write a song today. I know those are the days I probably need to.
When you feel that way, like I don't want to write a song, what do you do to get yourself started?
I gotta sit down with myself and be like, bitch, what are you thinking about? Sorry, can I say that?
Sometimes you got to call yourself bitch to like snap yourself out of it, right?
Yeah. I'll be like, girl, you have to do this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you spent a good amount of time in Nashville writing songs. What was that experience like for you?
It was really amazing. I moved to Nashville when I was 17, all by myself as a little.
Was that scary?
It was really scary.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone, and all I wanted to do was music, and I was supposed to go to college, and then ended up not. And moved there and just did my best to kind of find my place with all those. Everyone was so much older than me. I was like a child drinking mocktails at the bar, trying to get people. I'm like, will you write a song with me? They're like, who is this girl?
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Who is this girl? But I think Nashville was a really safe place for me to start. LA and New York seemed really scary and just bigger, you know? Nashville also, like, the appreciation for songwriting at the time is all I knew about it.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, had me gravitate towards it. So I think it was a really good first step for me.
And you're in LA now, right?
Yeah, I just moved here in
Is it
January.
scary?
It is scary. I love the weather, but it's very new, and change is scary, but I love new memories. So.
And in Nashville, I mean, it's known as like the country capital. I don't know if that's what they call it, but like
No, that's definitely known for country, yeah.
Yeah, and someone asked in the chat if you could scroll up a little bit. It was an AMA. They were wondering if you'd ever make a country album.
You know, I made my album with Dave Cobb, who typically makes country albums. He did, what was that movie with Lady Gaga and Fred?
Star is Born.
Star is Born. He did that stuff. He also does, you know, stuff with Chris Stapleton and stuff like that. And there's definitely a little bit of country, probably just from the years that I had been there in some of my songs. But I grew up in Michigan, so a country album to me sometimes doesn't feel very authentic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm
How
not a
about some
country
Detroit
girl.
country music?
Some Detroit country maybe we'll do. Yeah.
That's amazing though, because Detroit has such an incredible history of music. Do you feel like you're inspired by the musical legacy of Detroit?
For sure. Like, I mean, some of the greatest artists came from there. And also, like, we'd even have school field trips where we would go down to, like, all the different sites and stuff and just, like, learning about Aretha Franklin and, like, all that stuff. Like, so much great music came from there. I didn't like, my sound isn't that, but it was just really cool to be around it.
Yeah.
And just be around people who loved music. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to another AMA. Bodie Day says, that is quite a banger of beautiful, sad songs.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
quite a sentence. A banger, a beautiful, sad song.
I love it. Thank you.
And they're wondering, is there an artist that you love that inspires you to be this vulnerable? That's a great question.
That is a really good question. You know, I was actually thinking about this today because I've had people ask me, like, who are your favorite artists or who inspires you? And for me, like, I grew up listening to so many different kinds of people. And I noticed, like, the front runner of, like, these people, it's always when the lyrics are first and when the vocals really, like, present in the songs. And, you know, it like Mumford and Sons, the Lumineers, but then Joni Mitchell and even, like, Miley Cyrus and, like, all just when the vocal is really the first thing that you hear instead of the track or the song, I think those are usually songs I gravitate towards because you just feel the story a little bit more, and I think it helps me relate to it more. And I want people to be able to do that when they hear my songs as well.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Was there another AMA there? No, there wasn't. There wasn't. So you have your new EP that's dropping.
Yes.
It's called
Check it out.
Sad Bird, and then parentheses, the hurting phase,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And
I added that.
Yeah, well, you added that.
I added a little hurting
Why'd
face.
you add that?
I added it because I think there might be a second EP coming out after it. I don't know if that's a secret or not.
You're like, I think there might be
Post-hurting
like
phase.
Post-hurting phase. I'm like, I'm sure it's not a
The
secret.
healing phase.
The healing, that's what it's called.
Hey!
That's what it's called.
Hey,
So,
that's cool.
You know, I had written all these songs together, and they tell a story, and it's hard choosing 6 songs to put together because you know there's not a lot of context, and so having them in different parts will be good. And I'm excited to have them all out together.
Nice. So part one.
Part one, the hurting phase,
comes out next week, right?
I think so. Is that next
Yeah, I
week?
know. What
May's
day
like
is it?
next
Next
week.
week.
Yay!
Sad
Time to
bird.
party.
Yes, indeed. And so what can folks like expect more of your journal entries?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I feel a roller coaster of emotions every single day, and I think we all do. I'm just very open about them, but I'm not open typically about like the way that I'm feeling when I'm talking to people. The second I write a song, it's like all the doors are just wide open.
Yeah.
So I think, and I hope that people can relate to them in that way, because it's really just an open space to feel, and I think that's important because feeling is not a bad thing. And I've always thought it was, you know? And that's what I really want this EP to do for people. And they are vulnerable songs, they're sad songs, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, I think.
Yes.
So,
I feel like that's a great way to like close it out.
yeah,
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow.
fingers
Get in
crossed.
touch with your emotions.
Get in
Go to
touch
your
with them.
journal.
Go to your journal.
Write
Tell
down
me how
you
you're
feel.
feeling.
Tell Eloise how you're feeling. Tell us how you're feeling.
Tell us how you're feeling, because I need some inspiration for my next co-write.
Ooh, okay. Drop some inspiration for the next co-write. What's the next song going to be about? Let's think about for the healing phase.
The healing
What can go in
phase.
there?